Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before taking your questions, I will highlight a few points from my statement to the Board of Governors this morning. First, I presented my report on the Fukushima Daiichi accident, which has now been published along with 5 technical volumes. I am grateful to the experts from many countries and international organizations who contributed to this report, and to my IAEA colleagues who produced it. I believe that the report will provide a solid knowledge base for the future and will help to improve nuclear safety throughout the world. I informed the board that a project to modernize the IAEA nuclear applications laboratories in Cyberstorf, known as Renewal, is making good progress. Bulldozers are on the site today, preparing the ground for building work to start on the new insect pest control laboratories in early 2016. We aim to finish it by the end of 2017. Construction of a second lab, known as the Flexible Modular Laboratory, can begin once necessary extra budgetary funds are available. Renewal is a very important project, as the laboratories are the engine of much of the technical support where we provide to member states in areas such as food and agriculture. I asked member states to make the necessary funding available so we can complete the renovation of all the laboratories at Cyberstorf in the next few years. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome the fact that new Sustainable Development Goals to be adopted at the United Nations in a few weeks' time highlight the key role of science and technology in achieving sustainable development. This is something I have long been calling for. The agency has for many years made a major contribution to development by making nuclear science and technology available in areas such as food production, water management, and agriculture. We will continue to play our part in helping countries to meet their development goals. Last but not least, I briefed the board on safeguards implementation in Iran. It is only a few weeks since I last spoke to you about this, so I will not repeat everything I said then about our work under the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action and the roadmap. But I note that, as agreed in the roadmap, Iran has provided the agency with written explanations for the clarification of past and present outstanding issues. We are reviewing this information and will submit our questions to Iran by September 15th. I will now happy to take your questions.
My name is Ken Udagawa, Kyodo News, Japanese news agency. I have a question about the Fukushima report, and also you mentioned also the restart of Unit 1 at Sendai nuclear power plant. And the Fukushima report has been recently officially published. And what do you ask to ask Japanese government or TEPCO and other electric power companies in related to the Fukushima report? You mentioned so many things, and what do you think the Japanese government and also the electric companies and the regulation authority should improve in the light of the Fukushima report, or by the lessons from Fukushima Daiichi plant accident?
Okay. The Fukushima report was prepared by more than 180 experts from all over the world, from more than 40 countries, as well as from important international organizations. Our objective is to provide an authoritative, factual, and balanced report. This is not a report for a specific country. I do not have Japan only in mind. This is for all the countries, all the member states of the IAEA. And we hope that countries will make maximum use of this report and increase the safety, nuclear safety of their country's activities. The Japanese government and Japanese utilities have already taken a number of measures as I described in the Fukushima Daiichi accident report. What to learn from this report is a matter of each country. And we will not tell them what to do, but our role is to provide assistance to all the countries to learn more from this accident.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Arian Fall from Austria Press Agency and Wiener Zeitung, national newspaper. My question would be if, considering the two facts that Iran was fulfilling its commitments in the interims deal and also what you mentioned in August providing some new information, British ambassador said last week we have a new approach of the Iranians, and I would like to ask you, do you also see a new approach and a new style after the deal? And because your report at the end of the year will be the base for lifting the sanctions, which is very important for the other part, for the 5+1, and Iran is waiting a lot to get the sanction lifted. So will the upcoming reports will be much more positive or in the language and everything?
We are now implementing the roadmap and preparing to implement the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. If you call these are the new approaches, yes, we are now implementing the new agreements that were agreed on the 14th of July. Our expectation for Iran is to implement these commitments contained in the roadmap and the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. With regard to your question related to the sanction lifting, it is not the IAEA who would lift sanctions. The IAEA is a technical organization, and we focus on facts, and we provide assessment based on the facts and facts only. Our role is to provide the facts and provide assessment based on facts to facilitate the decision by member states.
Thanks, Mr. Amano. Jonathan Tyrone with Bloomberg. I have two questions, one on Iran safeguards and another on technical cooperation. Maybe we can come back on the TC one. Building off of your statement right now, should Iran implement their obligations as is foreseen under the plan, is it within the IAEA's capacity to monitor and verify those steps within the first quarter of 2016?
I mean, the JCPOAs?
Yeah, there's a number of technical commitments, both in terms of dismantling that you'll have to verify, as well as implementing new monitoring regimes. Is it feasible? Is it physically possible to do those things within the first 3 months of 2016? That's what some diplomats are suggesting.
The implementation in the future is first setting aside the clarification of issues with PMD. The future implementation is the implementation of preparatory measures, and then after the implementation day, Iran will implement the joint comprehensive plan of action as such. If the question is how long it will take to implement this preparatory work, on our part, we will do everything to accelerate our work. But it depends very much on Iran's activities, and they are related to the technical realities. For example, to reduce the amount of enriched uranium or remove the centrifuges from one place to storages. These are the technical, very technical elements. And we need to see how they can do it and how they organize it and how fast they can do it. It is difficult to anticipate how much time it will take for them. We understand that they would like to do these activities, preparatory works, as soon as possible. And on our part, we are ready to work with them. But it depends on the pace of activities on their part and technical reality.
George Houghton, Associated Press. Mr. Amano, the information you've gotten under the roadmap, could you characterize how much in percentage is information you already knew about and how much of it is new?
With respect to the clarification of PMD, much work needs to be done. We are now reviewing the explanation in writing, and we are preparing questions to Iran. Then we will engage in the substantiation process. Technical expert meetings will be organized, which will give us the opportunity to talk to the experts. Wrap-up meetings are needed, and in the meantime, the issues related to Parchin needs to be addressed. And the clarification of issues with PMD is possible only when we have the good understanding of the whole picture. So it is not possible to say how much percent of clarification has been done. It is a continuous work, and there is a need for analysis.
Amano, I'm Homoletsky from Press TV. On the issue of clarification work with regards to Parchin, we had a formal response by Iranian officials, and they were saying that Iran doesn't see how construction of a building which is close to the Parchin site is related to the IAEA or within the IAEA's jurisdiction. I'd like to have your response on that comment and whether you can tell us whether that issue is causing any problem for your verification work. And my second question, if I may, has there been requests by any members of the board for publication of these arrangements between the IAEA and Iran concerning Parchin? And on the other hand, how can that be possible if you want to if you want the confidentiality issue not to be, to be maintained for Iran? Thank you.
First, regarding the activities at the location, at a particular location of Parchin, we do not have inspectors, but we are observing the activities through the satellite imagery. We have observed activities there recently, and as was the case of previous activities, these activities could undermine the capability of the IAEA on verification. But as we do not have inspectors there, and we are observing through satellite imagery, we do not have further insights of these activities. With respect to the publication of a separate arrangement, we have not received any request to make them public from a member state. You may recall that on the 25th of August, we have provided the report, and the report was taken note of by consensus.
Other questions?
Mr. Amano, back to technical cooperation, you're doing a lot of work renovating the laboratories. What would you say to people that have suggested cutting IAEA funding? It's a little bit of a political situation by some opponents of the Iran deal who have publicly come out and said they would cut IAEA funds. What would you say to them, especially in terms of technical cooperation and some of the other activities that the agency does?
The IAEA is an organization with multifaceted objectives. There is a strong interest in Iran activities here in Vienna, but when I make a travel to other countries, especially in developing countries, the main interest is some transfer of technology through technical cooperation. I like to visit sites of a project, and I see that the cooperation of technical cooperation of IAEA is making real difference for the lives of ordinary people. So I really hope that the activities of the IAEA will be properly funded, and IAEA will continue to pursue the multifaceted objectives in a balanced manner.
Mr. Amano, Raquel Gonzalez from Hispan TV. Coming back to the PMD issues and the roadmap, how long does Iran have to, how much time does Iran have to answer to your questions from the time you deliver them on? And do you consider a scenario where you wouldn't be able to have an assessment by the end of the year and you would have to extend this assessment time? Thank you.
Now we are reviewing the explanation in writing provided by Iran, and soon, by the 15th of September, we will provide the questions. All the activities, including the substantiation, will be completed by the 15th of October. And then we will have the wrap-up meeting. We'll analyze the information and prepare the final assessment. I do not have in my mind the possibility of extending the deadline. The activities are taking place in an orderly manner, including Iran on Iran part and on our part, and I do not have particular concern that we will not be able to complete our final assessment by the 15th of December. And our assessment will be factual and impartial.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.